Good morning, students. Am I audible? Any disturbance from my side? Please respond.
Clear, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So today we'll be going with array list first. 1 minute. See, many students for this only it's taking a lot of time. Okay, fine. So last class, what we discussed, can anyone? Last class, what we discussed? Hmm?
Collection interfaces array list.
Hmm.
Array list introduction, array list methods,
Hmm.
program and traversing array.
Program చేసుకున్నాం.
Yes. Fine. So the last class we discussed about array list concept. Mainly we discussed about collection framework, collection interface, and the collection interface we have what list interface, and then queue interface, and then one more interface called what map set interface. Like that we have what three interfaces are there, and these three interfaces having what many subclasses we discussed in the last class. And we discussed about array list also. We discussed about array list. We discussed about array list, and in array list what happens is that in normal arrays we are facing an issue that once the array size was declared, we are not in a position to increase the size of the array, we are not in a position to decrease the size of the array. So in order to overcome that problem, collection framework is providing one concept or one predefined class, and which contains some set of predefined methods where it automatically increases as well as decreases in a size. So in order to store the elements in this array list, or before going into this array list, first of all, we need to remember this points. Insertion order is preserved. The meaning of this is in what way we inserted, in the same way we'll be getting the elements, and duplicates are allowed in this array list, and heterogeneous elements has been allowed, and allows random access, manipulates what manipulation is very slow because shifting has to be done, and null insertion is also possible. And one more point is that methods are not synchronized, so that results may be incorrect in some cases. Okay, I will discuss about the synchronization later. At the end, we'll be discussing about this. And we have seen a program on this in the last class. We have seen a program on this in the last class. Right? We have seen a program on this in the last class. Suppose when you are going to create an array list object, and if you are taking what the data type or the type of the object, then that type only we are in a position to store. Then that type only we are in a position to store. Otherwise, we cannot store other type of elements.
Right.
Pawan Kalyan, mute yourself. Right. So here, if I'm not going to take here array list what a string, then what happens is we can take any elements. That means we can store integer object, we can store character, we can store what string, like anything we can store, different elements we can store. But if you want to store same type of elements, then it is recommended to take the type of the object over here. Then it is recommended to take what a type of the object over here. So array list string list is equal to new array list string opening and closing parentheses, creating array list of strings. After that, we keep on adding strings into this object, list object, list object. We are keep on adding strings. And if you want to retrieve this, what strings means, we are using one for loop, and we are using one get method. With the help of this get method and for loop, we are going to retrieve the elements for I is equal to 0, 0 less than list dot size means we'll be getting total number of strings that are available in this particular list, and that value will be getting here. Total L number of things are going to be 5, so that list dot size gives us 5, 0 less than 5, and then it prints what get of 0. Get of 0 means what the first string it prints. After that, I plus plus means I becomes 1, and 1 less than 5, 1 less than 5, and get of 1 means this value, this DBMS it is going to print. After that, I plus plus means I becomes 2, and what 2 less than 5 means it prints what get of 2, that is it prints what OS, and then DM, and then defa. Like that, it is going to print the values on the screen. The same thing we can also go with for each loop. We can also go with what for each loop, and in this for each loop, what's the values that are, what's the type of values that are there in this list object, and that type I'm going to take here string obj, and the first element of list has been copied into this obj, and I'm going to print that obj over here. I'm going to print obj over here. First value, first iteration you'll be getting first value, second iteration you'll be getting second value, third iteration you'll be getting what a third value, right? Along with that, I would like to discuss one more important thing over here, that is iterator. Now in this thing, we'll be going with iterator. I will stop up to this iterator, and then we'll be going with linker list. We'll be going with linker list. Again, in linker list, what we'll be doing is we'll be trying to use iterator as well as list iterator we'll be using over there. Okay, so there are 4 ways are there. You need to understand these 4 ways. One is by using a normal for loop. Other one is by using what for each loop. Other one is by using iterator, only iterator, and next by using what list iterator, by using what list iterator. So these things you need to remember, students, because you might be having a concept that retrieving elements from collection. So any collection object, it might be any collection object, it might be what anything collect any collection object. And if you want to retrieve those set of objects from that collection, if you want to retrieve set of objects from that collection, then we might be using for each loop. We can use what for each loop, or normal for loop we can use, and we can use what iterator, we can use what iterator, and we can use what list iterator, we can use what list iterator, and we can use what enumeration interface. If you observe the syllabus of your 4th unit, and maximum thing, that means one complete line they focused on iterator itself. See, accessing a collection via iterator, using an iterator for each alternative. This complete thing, that means for each alternative, as well as using an iterator. They're not specified about list iterator, even though we are going to discuss about this list iterator, because if you understood iterator, understanding list iterator is very simple, students. Very simple, students. Okay, shall we proceed? Are you clear with normal for loop and for each loop here? ఇక్కడ నార్మల్ ఫర్ లూప్ తో ఫర్ ఈచ్ లూప్ తో కలెక్షన్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ని యాక్సెస్ చేయడం అర్థమైందా? రెస్పాండ్.
Yes sir. Yes sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let's go with iterator. Traversing list. This is array list only, right? Traversing list through what iterator. And how we are going to traverse a list through iterator is very simple, students. Very simple. So traversing list through iterator, this message as is will be printed over there. Now first thing you can observe here, list dot iterator. I'm taking something called as a list dot iterator. I'm taking something called as a list dot iterator. List dot iterator. So the meaning of this is what? Can anyone say what's the meaning here? List dot iterator ante enti asalu adi em chestunnam akkada, what we are doing? Can anyone?
లిస్ట్ లో ఉన్న ఎలిమెంట్స్ ని ఇటరేట్ చేయడానికి.
No, generally I'm asking about the meaning of that instruction. List dot iterator meaning enti ani adugutunna.
List dot iterator రిటర్న్ చేసే వాల్యూ ని ITR కి రిఫరెన్స్ ఇస్తున్నాం. లిస్ట్ డాట్ ఇటరేటర్ అనే మెథడ్ రిటర్న్ చేసే వాల్యూని ITR అనే ఆబ్జెక్ట్ కి రిఫరెన్స్ ఇస్తుంది.
Okay, fine, very good. Any other students? Any other students? Students respond from last day, few days onwards. I'm not asking any questions, but we are not at all giving any response.
Using object, we are calling the iterator.
Using object, we calling iterator method. Yes, very simple, very good. What I expected, you are given same answer. Fine, very good. Any other students respond? right now, which class we created an object? Respond. Which class we created an object in the program?
array list, sir.
Array list. So try to observe here what we are doing here is understanding this instruction playing an important role. This is very nothing is there agar. As next ante next element undi ani ante true vastundi, aa tarvata itr dot next gives the current element. After that has next ante next element undi ante true vastundi, itr dot next ante current element ni print చేస్తున్నాం, next element ni print చేసుకుంటే వెళ్తుంది అంతే. బట్ ఈ ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్ మీరు అర్థం చేసుకోవాలి. Try to understand this instruction. Iterator, let us keep this iterator aside. Now let us focus on this list dot iterator. This iterator, you can observe here, iterator with small I is a function, and this function is present in list array list class. This function present in which class? Array list class. That's the reason I'm going to call list dot iterator. List dot iterator. Now, right now I'm in array list class. In this array list class, let us see whether iterator is there or not. Yes, iterator is there. So let's open this iterator, and what does iterator is saying here is public iterator. That means this function returns iterator object. This function returns an iterator over the elements in this list in a proper sequence. Over an element present in this proper sequence. That means this function gives us iterator and object, right? Let's see what do you mean by this iterator. Whether iterator is interface or what. So actually iterator is nothing but an interface. Iterator is nothing but what? An interface. And to this interface, I'm assigning a iterator object. To this interface, I'm assigning which object? My iterator object. And iterator object ఇవ్వట్లేదు, ఎందుకంటే ఏమవుతుందంటే returns an iterator over the elements in the list, in this list. అంటే this list dot iterator అన్న what function ఏం చేస్తుందంటే లిస్ట్ క్లాస్ లో అరే లిస్ట్ లో ఉన్న iterator ఫంక్షన్ ఏం చేస్తుందంటే it uses the complete elements. It uses the complete elements to iterator. అంటే లిస్ట్ అంటే ఏంటి? మనకి కంప్లీట్ ఎలిమెంట్స్ ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో, కంప్లీట్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో, ఆ ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ అన్ని ఐటీఆర్ లోకి వెళ్ళిపోతాయి. ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ అన్ని ఎందులోకి వెళ్ళిపోతాయి? ఐటీఆర్ లోకి వెళ్ళిపోతాయి. అంటే ఇట్ ఈస్ నథింగ్ బట్ లిస్ట్ డాట్ ఇటరేటర్ ఈస్ నథింగ్ బట్ వీఆర్ అసైనింగ్ లిస్ట్ టు ఇటరేటర్ ఐటీఆర్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్. దట్స్ ఇట్. ఓకే, అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఎల్ఐఎస్టీ అంటే ఏంట్రా? మనం ఎల్ఐఎస్టీ ని ప్రింట్ చేస్తే ఏమొస్తుంది మనకి? కంప్లీట్ లిస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో అవన్నీ ప్రింట్ అవుతాయి కదా. ఆ ఎల్ఐఎస్టీ లో ఉన్న ఎలిమెంట్స్ అన్నిటిని ఎవరికి ఇస్తున్నాం మనం? ఐటీఆర్ అన్న వేరియబుల్ కి ఇస్తున్నాం. ఐటీఆర్ అన్నది ఏ రిఫరెన్స్ వేరియబుల్? ఇటరేటర్ రిఫరెన్స్ వేరియబుల్. ఎస్, ఫర్ ఇంటర్ఫేస్ we can create reference, but we cannot create object. Here we are not creating an object. What we are doing is we are taking a complete list, and that list information, that complete list, we are giving it to what? Iterator interface variable. Have you got this point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Got it.
Right. List dot iterator అన్న ఒకటే. అంటే లిస్ట్ అంటే కంప్లీట్ థింగ్స్ అన్ని వస్తాయి, మన కంప్లీట్ డేటా అంతా వచ్చేస్తుంది. ఆ లిస్ట్ లో ఉన్న వాల్యూస్ అన్ని వస్తాయి. ఆ వాల్యూస్ ని తీసుకెళ్లి ఐటీఆర్ లో స్టోర్ చేస్తున్నాను. ఇప్పుడు లిస్ట్ డాట్ ఇటరేటర్ అని అంటే సేమ్ థింగ్, కంప్లీట్ లిస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఎలిమెంట్స్ విల్ బి స్టోర్డ్ ఇన్ ఐటీఆర్. దట్స్ ఇట్. And now what happens is, now ITR contains this 5 elements. What's the 5 elements here? Java, DBMS, DM, and then Befa. Now ITR dot has next. అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ ఏ ఇంటర్ఫేస్ లో ఉన్న వేరియబుల్స్ మెథడ్స్ ని యూస్ చేస్తున్నాం అంటే ఐటీఆర్ అన్న దానిలో ఉన్నాయి. ఐటీఆర్ వి రావు, యాక్చువల్ గా లిస్ట్ లోవే వస్తాయి మనకి. Mute yourself 96.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
right? Has next, and then remove functions are there. And with the help of this functions, we'll be doing what? We'll be getting what? The next element. See, has next, what it does, returns true if the iteration has more elements. Otherwise, returns true if next would return an element rather than throwing an exception. Right? See, what happens is very simple. Itr dot has next returns what? True. Returns true if element is there. Now it dot next means what it does, it prints the current element and it goes with the next element. If next element is there, it returns true and it prints the current element and goes with the next element. Next element is there means it prints true, returns true, and it prints what? Next element. Like this, the elements is going to be printed over here with the help of what? Iterator object. With the help of what? Iterator object. Try to remember these things, this logic. The same thing happens with the list iterator also. Same thing happens with list iterator also. Don't worry about this. Try to understand. Right? So first I'm creating an object for iterator. List.iterator uses iterator object, and this object with the help of this reference or this object, what I'm doing is I'm going to call hasNext function. HasNext function, this function returns true if element is there, and itr.next returns an element. Itr.next returns an element, and after printing that element, again it checks whether the next element is there. If next element is there, it returns 2 and it prints the current element. Like that, it's going to be done. Okay, so like this, the elements is going to be printed. If you compile this program, then you will be getting the list of elements that are there in the thing. Java C space ArrayList demo2.java. Right? So traversing through what? Normal for loop, traversing through for each loop, traversing through what? Iterator, traversing through what? Iterator. And same thing happens with respect to list iterator also, but we'll discuss it later. It is clear with this list iterator, array list and all?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Right, make a note of this
Yes, sir.
fast.
Yes, sir.
Make a note of this fast, students. Make a note of this fast. మీరు ఏం చేస్తారంటే వాట్ ఇక్కడ వరకు రాయండి, ఇంపోర్ట్ నుంచి లిస్ట్ యాడ్ వరకు రాసుకొని తర్వాత ఫర్ ఈచ్ లూప్ లిస్ట్ ఇటరేటర్ రాసుకోండి. నార్మల్ ఫర్ లూప్ అవసరం లేదు. Up to this right now. Make it fast. Try to finish it within 5 minutes because many things are there to discuss. Completed. Completed?
Completed, sir.
What about others?
Done, sir.
Completed, sir.
Fine, fine. Now let's enter into another thing here. Right. So in this, we completed for each loop and we completed what using iterator interface. And one more thing is the list iterator that we'll discuss. Now, let's discuss about this another data structure, that is linked list. Linked list is a class that extends abstract list and it implements list as well as DQ interfaces, as well as what DQ interfaces. Linked list has few disadvantages, like nodes cannot be accessed directly. Instead of, we need to start from the head and follow through the link to reach the node which we want to, where we wish to access. So this is one of the main disadvantage, like for everything. That means if you want to access anything, again you need to start from first node till that node you need to reach. This is going to be happen. Traversing takes a lot of time in linked list. So that's the reason we went with search trees, where the searching time complexity or traversing time complexity is going to be reduced, because in linked list the time complexity is going to be order of n, and it is going to be reduced in case of search trees with order of log n base 2. However, there is some problems in search trees are also, but as per you, as up to now, you came to know that the accessing of search trees was very simple when compared to linked list. Okay, but in the coming semester you'll be having another subject like the design analysis of algorithms, and in that you'll be knowing, you'll be going in depth of data structures again. So you'll be getting many things, many different ways you'll be getting, and you'll be getting more and more clarity on that from that subject on data structures. Okay, it's going to be a question mark. That means while living from such trees, it's going to be a question mark for you all in your brains, but that thing will be resolved in the design analysis of subject. Okay, fine. So now let's see. Linked list is another data structure. It's a collection, class, uses commonly a double linked list to store the elements. It provides a linked data structure. It provides what? A linked data structure, right? So how it was done is, it was collection is an interface which is extended from iterable interface, and this collection interface, two interfaces has been extended, list and queue, and this abstract sequential list is one interface, and that is implementing is a class, and that is implementing what list interface, and DQ is what class they said what interface, right? DQ is also interface. Yes, DQ is also interface because it is extending. DQ is implementing this. Now finally, linked list is extending this abstract sequential list, as well as it is implementing DQ interface, as well as it is implementing what DQ interface. You can see here, this is linked list is a class which was taken from list interface as well as queue interface. List interface as well as what? A queue interface. Two interfaces it is implementing. Two interfaces it is implementing, right? So what are all things that we have when compared to your array list in case of linked list is that insertion order is preserved. There also insertion is order is preserved. Duplicates are allowed. Yes, there also duplicates are allowed. And here heterogeneous objects are allowed. There also heterogeneous objects are allowed. Null insertion is possible here. There also null insertion is possible. Manipulation is fast because no shifting need to occur. That means in case of array list, what they will be doing is they will be doing what some shifting operations. shifting operations, but here there is no need to perform any shifting operations. And here a linked list is not synchronized, the results may be incorrect in some cases. So array list ఎలా ఉంటుందంటే మనం ఫస్ట్ 5 elements ని స్టోర్ చేసాం అనుకోండి. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ 5 elements ని మనం స్టోర్ చేసాం. ఇలా స్టోర్ చేసినప్పుడు వాట్ సపోజ్ నేను ఫోర్త్ ఎలిమెంట్ ని డిలీట్ చేయాలనుకుంటున్నాను. అయితే వీడు ఏం చేస్తాడంటే ఈ ఫిఫ్త్ లో ఉన్న ఎలిమెంట్ ని తీసుకొచ్చి ఫోర్త్ ఇండెక్స్ లో ప్లేస్ చేసి ఈ ఫిఫ్త్ కి ఏదైతే మెమరీ ఉందో ఆ ఫిఫ్త్ కున్న మెమరీని డీఅలొకేట్ చేస్తారు. దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ హ్యాపెనింగ్ ఇన్ అరే లిస్ట్. But in case of this linked list, what happens is just like our normal linked list. It's going to be like that. Suppose you want to delete the second one, you can delete directly the second one. And we can establish a link from first to what? Second. That means there is no shifting operations between the elements, between the objects. But in case of this, there is a requirement of shifting operations in array list. So among these two things, that means when question comes to you that which one is going to be easy, means you need to go with linked list only rather than going with array list. Linked list is what more flexible because it doesn't take much time, because no need of performing any shifting operations, and CPU takes less processing time for that. So what instead of going with array list, you can make use of what linked list. Okay. And in linked list also we have what two things are there. One is list without creating an object without any parameter. Other one is what collection object which takes a collection object. And then methods, add method as usual, and add this what at a particular position it's going to add this particular element. And add first, if you want to add an element first, then we'll be going with add first. If you want to add an element last, then we'll be going with add last. That like insert first, insert last, and insert after and insert before we can achieve with the help of add position and then element. And then remove first, and then what remove last, delete first, delete last, and then delete. That means we can delete a particular element. Clear means it deletes the complete element. Get means it retrieves the element present at a specified position. Get first, retrieves the first element. Get last, gets the last element. Sets, that means it's used to rename the element value. And index, it gives the index of particular object. Last from beginning onwards, last index means from last onwards it gives the index of the object. Size returns the total number of elements in the linked list. Same elements, same functions, whatever the functions that we have in array list, same functions, but here few more functions was added over here, that add first, add last, remove first, remove last, and then what get first, get last. These things are not there in case of array list. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Make a note of this.
Yes.
Linked list, this part, and diagram. Make it fast, students.
Completed, sir.
Diagram also, right?
No, sir. Diagram not completed.
Take two things, students. Completed.
Yes, sir.
Take the statements fast. Completed. Completed.
Yes, sir.
Right. So let's go with the program. So here also I'm interested to take a string object. So that's the reason I'm going to create a list object, list, linked list, string L is equal to new linked list, again string opening and closing parentheses, and whatever you are going to specify over there, only this objects we can add. So adding elements into the linked list, so we can add by using what add function, add dot A, add dot B, add dot C, add dot D, add dot E, add dot F. And then here I'm doing something here. I added A, B, C, D. After that, I'm going to add at second position E. Second position E means we need to 0, 1, 2. That means 0 is placed at first index, A is placed at 0th index, and B is placed at first index, and C is placed at what second index. Now this E will come in the place of what before C. Before C, this E is going to come, right? Like that, we are giving a particular position, and according to that position, we are going to place the elements. We are placing the element. After that, F and then G. Now we'll be printing that single linked list. We'll be printing that, sorry, we are printing that linked list L, so that whatever the values that we have and all those values will be printing over there. Now removing the things directly, we can remove here. So by giving what remove within double quotes B, remove 3, and then remove first, remove last, remove first, and then remove last. Like that, we can do here that remove within double quotes B means B is going to be deleted over there, and remove 3 means the element present at third index. That means what C is going to be removed. C is going to be removed. After that, remove first, A is going to be removed. After that, remove last means what G is going to be removed. Right. After that, we are going to print the elements. After this, we are going to print the elements, and we can also make use of iterator object here. And we can also make use of iterator object to print the elements. So how to use that iterator object? Can anyone say?
Iterator.
Iterator ITR equals to list dot
List data. I don't know. ఏమొస్తుంది ఇక్కడ?
I dot iterator method.
Very good. Gayatri, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Right. ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ ఏం చేయాలి? ITR dot as next system dot out dot println ఏమొస్తుంది చెప్పండి?
ITR dot
ITR dot next.
Right. Save it. So let's compile this Java C space linked list class demo.java. Right. See, linked list D AE. So what we are done there. Insertion order is without, right? Why it was- Okay, I will see that. Okay. Linked list, we are printing the elements. After that, after deletion, okay. Let's execute one more time. Okay, you can observe here this it was taken in this order D, A, E, B, C, F, G. And first of all, what we have done is we inserted A, we inserted B, we inserted C, we inserted D. And second index, we inserted what? E. But, okay, sorry, not seen that for last and first. Okay. First we inserted A, next we inserted B. After that, insert last. That means how the hierarchy is going to be. Try to understand here how the insertion was done. Sorry. First A is inserted, B is inserted. After that, add last. I said add last means at last position you will be getting what? C. And add first means you'll be getting what here? D. Before A you'll be getting D. And add what 2 comma E means 0, 1. And here where they inserted, okay, here they inserted 0, 1, and then here they inserted what? E. After that, add F means this F will be inserted at last and G will be inserted at last. Like that, insertion was done. After that, what we are done, remove B means first B will be removed. After removing this B, we removing that third index. Third index means 0, 2, 0, 1, 2. E is going to be removed, but E was not removed, I think. So here it's taking what 0, 1, 2. First B was removed, and then C was removed. Third index. After that, first means D is going to be removed, and the last means what? G is going to be removed. Okay. So this is what the final thing that we got. Okay. So and we printed by using what? Iterator object. By using what object we printed over there. Okay. Fine. So this is a linked list program. So try to see this program here. I'm not explaining this. I will be what execution part of this. Try to observe this program, all of you, because we have 1 minute time. And this is an assignment for you all. You need to do the program like this. Within 2 days, I will be sharing a link with you, and what I will be asking you to submit this. Try to look this program. Everyone has to do this program as it is, just like how we are done in case of single linked list. So create, first of all, I'm going to create and enter an element. I'm going to enter, do you want to create? Yes. 25, yes. Again 14, yes. Now this time again 14, and this time I'm entering what? Null. So another thing I entered, so it was removed. Now I'm going with the display. So 12, 25, 14, 14 duplicates are allowed here. Now I'm going with the delete. So again, it's asking me delete first, delete last, delete node. So I would like to delete first. So first node was deleted. Again, it went to main menu, display. So first was deleted. Again, I'm going to call delete. And this time I'm going to ask 14. So invalid operation, sorry. Again, I'm going with the delete. And I would like, again, I'm going with the delete. And I would like to delete a node. I'm going to enter 14, and which 14 is going to be deleted here? Second 14 is going to be deleted. If I display, if I call display, then second 14 was deleted because I inserted 74 and it came at last. Okay, so like this it should be, right? So one more modification I'm saying to you is that if I instead of create, you can take add over there. If I click add, then you need to ask three things you need to add. Two things you need to ask. One is add, another one is add first. Add means automatically adds at last. Add first means it is going to add at a beginning. And one more thing is that add in between. Add in between function has to take an input from the user again, at which position the user wants to insert an element, and that we need to take the position, and according to that position the element the object need to be inserted. Okay, so the thing is, first of all, add is there, add should be there, and delete should be there, display, and then exit. If I what entered one means, again a sub menu has to come, add first, add last, add intermediate. Add first has to add first, add last has to be element has to add at last, and add in between has to ask the position, at which position this element need to be inserted, that thing it should ask. After that, when you go with delete, again delete first, delete last, and then delete node. These things it has to ask. And don't write the logic, try to use the predefined functions like add position comma object. After that, add first object, add last object, and then remove first, remove last, and then remove functions you can use, and making use of that you can write the logic. See, I've not done any logic over here, just only inside the switch case only. What I taken, I use what here add function. After that, in case 2, I written what the menu, again one more menu. Case 2 is going to be delete. Again, I'm asking delete first, delete last. And again here inside this case 2 itself, I written what switch case. I'm asking remove first, remove last. Okay, like that I done here. Clear with this? At least have you understood the output?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this kind of output I'm expecting from you all, and everyone has to do this. Everyone has to do this. Okay. And with respect to iterative objects, don't take only string, always take some iterative objects or something else, or else if you feel some comfort with strings, take strings and try to complete this program. Try to complete it by Friday. Okay. Respond.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Take this program, all of you, link the list program, make it fast.